My neighbor Mrs. Patterson has lived in apartment 3B for 40 years, and she looks exactly the same in every photograph from 1985 to today. I discovered this 3 weeks ago while researching our building's history for a community project. The landlord gave me access to old tenant records and photographs from building events over the decades. Holiday parties, summer barbecues, building anniversaries. And in every single photo spanning 4 decades, there she was. Mrs. Patterson in 1985, looking about 50 years old. Mrs. Patterson in 1997, looking about 50. Mrs. Patterson in 2008, 2015, 2023, always the same age, same face, same slight smile that never quite reached her eyes. I'm Mark Chen, a freelance journalist living in apartment 2B of a pre-war building in Brooklyn. Mrs. Patterson moved in before I was born. She's quiet, polite, keeps to herself. Pays her rent in cash every month, hand-delivered in an envelope slipped under the landlord's door. She never has visitors. Never receives mail. I've lived here for 3 years and we've had maybe a dozen conversations, all surface-level pleasantries about the weather or building maintenance. But now I couldn't stop staring at those photographs. I scanned them, zoomed in on her face. Not just similar. Identical. The same fine lines around her eyes. The same silver streak in her dark hair. The same small mole on her left cheek. 40 years without aging a single day. I started watching her more carefully. She left her apartment every morning at exactly 7:15 a.m., always wearing a long coat regardless of weather, carrying the same brown leather bag. She'd return at 6:30 p.m. I never saw her with groceries. Never saw delivery people at her door. The one window visible from the courtyard stayed dark, curtains always drawn. I knocked on her door on a Saturday afternoon, holding a casserole dish as an excuse. Mrs. Patterson? I made too much food and thought you might like some. The door opened on a chain lock. Her eye appeared in the gap, that same slight smile in her voice. How thoughtful, Mark. But I have dietary restrictions. I'm sorry. The door closed before I could respond. That night, I heard sounds from her apartment. Not footsteps or TV or normal living sounds. A low humming, rhythmic and constant, like machinery running. It went on for hours. At 3 a.m., I pressed my ear against the wall we shared. The humming had a pattern, almost like breathing. In for 8 counts, out for 8 counts, perfectly regular, never varying. I mentioned it casually to other tenants. Old Mr. Reeves on the first floor laughed. Mrs. Patterson? She's been here longer than anyone. Nice lady. Keeps to herself. When I showed him the photographs, his smile faded. Must be a relative. Her daughter maybe? But the tenant records listed no family. Emergency contact, none. Next of kin, none. I did what any journalist would do. I investigated. Property records showed she'd purchased her apartment in 1985 for cash. Before that, no records. No birth certificate on file. No previous addresses. No employment history. Mrs. Patterson appeared in 1985 as a fully formed 50-year-old woman with no past, and then never changed. The breakthrough came from an old newspaper article I found at the library. August 1985, a small piece about a fire at a medical research facility upstate. 3 researchers died. The facility was studying cellular regeneration and age regression therapies. It was shut down immediately, all research destroyed. Among the researchers listed as deceased, Dr. Patricia Patterson, age 50. My hands shook holding that newspaper. The photograph accompanying the article showed Dr. Patricia Patterson. It was her. My neighbor. Same face. Same silver streak. Same mole. listed as dead in a fire 39 years ago. I confronted her the next evening. I knocked, and when she opened the door on its chain, I held up my phone showing the newspaper article. Dr. Patterson, you died in 1985. Her eye in the gap went very still. Then, quietly, you should have left it alone, Mark. The chain slid off. The door opened fully. She stepped aside. Come in. Since you've already doomed yourself with knowledge, you deserve to understand what you've discovered. Her apartment was exactly what you'd expect. Clean, sparse, furnished like a hotel room. Except for one thing. The bedroom door was closed, and that humming sound was coming from behind it. Louder now. Definitely mechanical. What I'm about to show you, she said, is why I've hidden for 40 years. Why I'll keep hiding until this body finally fails. She opened the bedroom door. The room was filled with medical equipment. For stands, monitors, a hospital bed. And in the bed was a body. A woman, ancient, her skin like parchment, her breathing supported by a ventilator. But her face, beneath the wrinkles and the decay of extreme age, was recognizable. It was Mrs. Patterson. Or had been. That's me, my neighbor said quietly. The original me. Dr. Patricia Patterson. I was researching cellular regeneration at 50 years old, dying of cancer, desperate. We were so close to a breakthrough. Then the fire started. I was trapped in the lab. I made a choice. She gestured to the body. I uploaded my consciousness into the facility's experimental digital substrate, then downloaded it into a cloned body, one we'd been growing as a test subject. This body, the horror of it settled over me like ice water. You've been keeping your original body alive for 40 years. I couldn't let it die. I'm not truly alive in this body, Mark. I'm a copy, running on biological hardware. If the original dies, I don't know what happens to me. Do I wink out of existence? Do I continue as a ghost in borrowed flesh? I've been too terrified to find out. So I've kept the original alive, sustained by machines, aging but never dying, while I exist in this frozen moment. You think I don't know that? Her voice cracked. Every day for 40 years, I've fed her through tubes, cleaned her, maintained the machines. I exist in this liminal space, neither truly alive nor fully separate. I gave up everything. Career, family, identity. All to maintain this horrific status quo because I'm too afraid of what death means for a copied consciousness. The machines beeped steadily. The ventilator hissed. The ancient body in the bed breathed on, unaware, trapped in some unconscious hell that had lasted 4 decades. The others who died in the fire, I said slowly. Did they try the same thing? She nodded. 2 of them did. I was the only one who succeeded. And success, as you can see, is relative. This isn't living, Mark. It's an extended dying. And now you know. Why tell me? Why show me this? Because the knowledge is a burden. Because you'll carry it now too. Because maybe you'll understand why I need to keep hiding, keep existing in this terrible in-between state. And because... She looked at the body in the bed. She's failing. The original is dying despite everything I do. She has maybe 6 months. And when she dies, I'll finally learn the answer to the question that's haunted me for 40 years. Do I die with her? Or do I keep going, knowing I'm just a ghost wearing stolen flesh? I left her apartment. I haven't spoken to her since. But I hear the machines at night through our shared wall. That steady humming, that mechanical breathing, the sound of a woman keeping another version of herself alive through sheer terror of the alternative. Mrs. Patterson still leaves at 7:15 a.m. every morning. Still returns at 6:30 p.m. Still looks exactly 50 years old. But now when I see her in the hallway, I see the truth. She's not alive. She's not dead. She's something in between, a consciousness in exile from its own mortality, trapped by the question every copy must eventually face. When the original dies, what happens to the reflection? I don't know if I'll be here when the original finally fails. Part of me is morbidly curious. Part of me is terrified. Because if Mrs. Patterson continues after the original dies, it proves consciousness can be copied, that we're just information running on biological hardware. But if she dies with the original, it means something essential is lost in the copying, something that makes us real, and that's somehow more frightening. Last week, I saw her in the courtyard, standing very still, staring at nothing. The afternoon sun caught her face, and for just a moment, she looked translucent, like something not quite solid, not quite real. A ghost pretending to be human. A copy that's forgotten it's not original. A woman trapped between two deaths, her own and the one she's been forestalling for 40 years. She looked at me then, and smiled that slight smile that never reaches her eyes. And I understood. She's not afraid of dying. She's afraid of discovering she was never truly alive. That everything she's done, every day of these 40 years, has been the actions of a very sophisticated echo, convincing itself it's real. That's the real horror. Not the machines or the ancient body or the extended dying. It's the uncertainty. The question with no answer until the moment arrives. Are we our bodies? Our memories? Our continuous experience? Or are we something else, something that can't survive being copied, something essential that makes a reflection just a reflection? Mrs. Patterson will find out soon. The machines are running louder lately. The humming has changed pitch. The original is dying. And when she finally does, I'll be listening through our shared wall, waiting to hear if the machines shut off, or if they keep running, sustaining an empty shell while a copied consciousness finally faces the truth it's been running from since 1985. Some answers are worse than the questions. I think Mrs. Patterson knows that. I think she's known it for 40 years. And I think that's why, even now, even knowing the end is coming, she still locks herself in that apartment every night and keeps those machines running. Because as long as the original breathes, she can pretend the question doesn't need answering. She can exist in that terrible in-between space, neither fully alive nor completely ready to discover if she's actually capable of dying. The photographs don't lie. She hasn't aged. She never will. She's frozen at the moment of copying, a snapshot pretending to be a person. And when I see her now, I don't see my neighbor anymore. I see a walking question mark, waiting for mortality to provide an answer she's been too terrified to face.